Hi, Messiah. I'm in an Airbnb in Massachusetts outside of Boston where Laura and I are hanging out with my sister and her husband. We're getting ready for the house to fill up a little bit more with nieces and spouses and partners and all that. There's a World Cup game today, as you probably know. Yeah, yikes, about Turkey beating us the other day. More on that at a different broadcast. But today I just want to say, because there's a World Cup game here in Boston too, we got out of town quickly. We went up to Gloucester, which is apparently like a pretty place on the ocean, and we had a nice dinner there, and we were kind of just having some date time before we got to big family time. Now, big family time is what I used to call it when we were younger and there was giant amounts of children involved and grandparents and nieces, nephews. Now big family time's a little bit more compact, and I'm actually in the kitchen with the whole big family that we have. There's my sister Carrie, and Laura, and here's my brother-in-law Alan, who is doing what I often do in big family time, which is being on the phone. But big family time is kind of cool, especially when we break off into pairs, right? So Laura and Carrie talk about books and family stuff, right, ladies? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Alan and I talk about sometimes random business stuff and family man stuff. By the way, it was Alan's suggestion that I do this all in AI so that they didn't have to shower. But then he and I are like, we don't need to shower. And the ladies are like, well, maybe we do. I'm like, oh, come on, I got to get this quickly out. So anyway, we talk about a lot of family stuff, and until my little brother gets here, and then it's going to be a little more politics and a little bit of jousting and parrying. But we're going to have enough energy for that because there's lots of food here. And then when our nieces and our one niece and her partner joins us, we're going to have even more fun. And then we're going to go out to eat. So going out to eat is a little bit different. Back in the old days when there were tons of kids all around, we had plenty of food in the fridge. We'd cook multiple pans of multiple meals. Now it's more we go out to restaurants. And so my sister Carrie, super healthy and has been an athlete all her life. She eats healthy, vegan, and natural. Is there another word to describe you, Carrie?
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods. She has a breakfast mix that's in a plastic bag that she calls Live Forever.
No, so Hannah calls it.
Oh, Hannah, her daughter calls it Live Forever, but to me it looks like couldn't get it down. Anyway, so Carrie eats that way. Alan eats only steaks and hamburgers, plain with no seasoning, that is super well done. So salt too, right? Lots of salt. So they're kind of on different ends of the whole food spectrum, but they're both healthy and happy. So, oh well. And then Laura mostly eats chicken, doesn't want any seafood, which is great if you're on the seacoast. And I want to eat lobster or an all-you-can-eat salad bar that has lots of pockets of crab and seafood meat in it. So who knows what's going to happen, but we're excited to be here this weekend. And it makes me think about family time. The church is a big family, and we have family time. Sometimes it's crawling with kids. Sometimes we get a little peace and quiet for us older folks. And it's always got this beautiful chaos and sometimes compromise, because we're not going to all pick the same restaurant or certainly the same things to order on it, but we are all going to compromise and say, okay, this restaurant seems good enough for us. And I think that's how church works, right? It's not between a good idea and a bad idea. Most of the time it's between, multiple good ideas. And we only have the resources, the energy, the focus for a handful. And mission conversations are what being the church family is kind of all about. So speaking of church family, I wanted to tell you, coming up in the next 2 Sundays, this weekend is Stephen Ministry Sunday. I'll be gone, but Julie Kendrick, who's a wonderful speaker and an author of 3 books, which Laura has all read and said they're amazing. She is the leader of the Stephen Ministry program, which is this listening ministry for people who want to share stuff and get things off their chest. That's this weekend. And then the following weekend, July 5th, is going to be kind of it's a patriotic celebration, but depends how you define patriotism, right? We're going to be talking about God, our Father, and what He believes a healthy and joyful and honorable relationship to our government and to our country can be. It's going to be a powerful Sunday. We're going to have a giant 48-star woolen flag hanging up front. That's kind of an antique hand-me-down to one of our members. And it's going to be a fun time when there are going to be kids and families and all the rest of us singing God Bless America and a handful of other things. So hope you'll be there on those Sundays. I will miss you this week, but have a great time worshiping, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, Messiah. Bye.